Hey guys, let's talk about mileage and how to pay attention to your mileage, if it's important to pay attention to mileage, and what money to mile ratio you should be trying to achieve over a course of time right here, right now. So, the two easiest ways that I've found to pay attention to my mileage are simply resetting my trip odometer during my runs. Every time I start, I turn my trip odometer on my car back to zero, track my mileage that way. If you don't like that idea, you can actually download apps like Stride or Everlance that track you wherever you're going. So you can grab one of those apps, you can utilize those, or you can use your odometer. And that way, every single time you're out, you know exactly how many miles you've driven when you're out doing runs. So if you're asking yourself, should I be tracking my mileage or looking at the money to mile ratio while I'm taking orders, as I'm working on my DoorDash or Uber Eats deliveries? The true answer is yes. There is a major difference in your net earnings when you are watching your money to mile ratio. And I want to show you all right now the difference between $1,000 earnings gross and what it looks like if you drive a $1 to 1 mile ratio, a $1.50 to 1 mile ratio, and a $2 to 1 mile ratio. This will help you understand more deeply why it's important to watch the money to mile ratio throughout a course of time when you're out here doing your delivery, so you earn the most money possible and you aren't just burning your car up and having no money at the end of the month to put gas in your car, to buy tires, to do oil changes or upkeep and maintenance, pay taxes and tags. If you continue to drive at that $1 to 1 mile ratio, you're going to see shortly you're not making near the money you think you are, and you're not going to have the money you need to keep working as a gig worker. Let's break down the different money to mile ratios right now. So for this example, I took 45 cents per mile, which is about middle of the road for the average cost per mile per vehicle in our country. So here in the first example, we have $1,000 earnings, 1,000 miles driven, which equals a $1 to 1 mile ratio. And at 45 cents per mile, that's $450 in auto expenses to make $1,000 gross, which you can see earns us $550 net profit. That's not a really great profit after you've worked very hard to make $1,000. The next item to look at is the $1.50 per mile ratio. Again, we have $1,000 at $1.50 to 1 mile ratio. That's 665 miles driven. At 45 cents per mile, that will give us auto expenses of $299.25, which leaves us with a net profit of $700.75. This is an increase of $150.75 on our net profit just by bringing our money to mile ratio up to $1.50. Now let's look at $2 to 1 mile ratio. For $1,000, that means you've driven 500 miles, and at 45 cents per mile, that's $225 in auto expenses. That leaves us with a net profit of $775. And if we look at the bottom of the screen, we can see that this difference increased our earnings from the $1.50 to 1 mile ratio by $74.25 after earning a $1,000 gross. But the bigger number to notice is the $225 in increased earnings when you go from $1 to 1 mile ratio up to $2 to 1 mile ratio. This is a major change in your earnings and something that we should all be focused on. So as we can all see, the goal would be to reach $2 to 1 mile ratio. Now I know that you're not going to be able to reach that goal on every single order, every single day, but the good rule of thumb is to try to reach that goal throughout a month-long period. If you can consistently take orders that keep you around the $2 to 1 mile ratio, at the end of the day, you will be more successful, you will have more money in your pockets, and you will be able to continue working as a gig worker, taking care of your vehicle, taking care of maintenance and repairs, auto insurance, tags and taxes, as well as having money left over for yourself at the end of the day. So the way I like to look at it is not per order. Sometimes that will cause you to become frustrated if you're passing up on maybe $1.50 to 1 mile ratio orders, or even $1 to 1 mile ratio orders, knowing that down the line you might find an order that's going to pay you $3 to 1 mile or $5 to 1 mile. So don't only shoot for $2 to 1 mile ratio orders each time you select an order, but do try to average those out near the $2 to 1 mile ratio so you are earning the most money possible when it comes to your net profit. I really hope that this video makes you think more about your money to mile ratio, gives you an idea of how to track it and just kind of look at your numbers, maybe even learn how much money per mile your car actually does take to operate. Plug in your numbers, know where you are, know how much money you're actually earning so you can become more successful in this gig work. You all get out there, make some money. Have a nice day.